Let me cut across to our top story here. Bihar, Jungle Raj that's now returned quite obviously with the number of killings that have been reported in the last week or more leaves us to believe that this is nothing but Jungle Raj in the state. It's brazen and chilling, terrifying reminder of how emboldened criminals have become in Bihar. In broad daylight, this is what happened today. On camera, CCTV cameras caught 4 men walking into Paras Hospital in Patna, Bihar. Very calm, not showing any hurry, with weapons, guns in their hands. They head straight to the ICU, push open the door and fire multiple rounds at a patient inside. One can imagine the brazenness, no fear of consequences. These men walk in to that private hospital and carry out this murder and just walk out without showing any panic or rush or resistance or, of course, no fear of law. In fact, the victim we hear, Chandan Mishra, was no innocent man himself. A gangster. Chandan Mishra has dozens of murder cases against him. He was in fact on parole. He was on medical parole from Bihar jail when he was gunned down inside that private hospital. He was out at that hospital taking treatment on parole when these gangsters came in, killed him and walked away. The hospital is located in Patna's busy Raja Bazaar area where hundreds walk in every day, and that spot turned into a crime scene at 7:30 a.m. Police suspect old gang rivalry, but what really can explain this sheer audacity? What does it say about the state's law enforcement when 4 men can carry out an execution inside a hospital and escape without a trace? They just walk in and walk out. In the past 13 days alone, 16 murders have been reported in Bihar. 16, and that's in just 13 days. ICU killing is now added to this list. It's the latest in the spree of these murders that's left Bihar looking completely lawless. The opposition has pounced. RJD's Tejasvi Yadav says Bihar is now a crime capital of the country, and the numbers are hard to ignore. A whopping 1,376 murders have happened in Bihar in just the first 6 months of 2025. Listen in.
यहाँ लॉयर्स की हत्या हो रही है, डॉक्टर्स की हत्या हो रही है, इंजीनियर्स की हत्या हो रही है, नेताओं की हत्या हो रही है, पुलिस के लोगों की हत्या हो रही है, व्यवसायिकों की हत्या हो रही है, घर में घुस के गोली मारी जा रही है, दफ्तर में घुस के गोली मारी जा रही है, अस्पताल में घुस के गोली मारी जा रही है, दुकानों में घुस करके गोली मारी जा रही है। लोग तो अपराधी तो सड़क पे हैं, ये पताल में कहाँ जा रहे ढूंढने भाई? तो हमने तो पहले भी कहा, इन लोगों ने एनडीए के आने के बाद जो है लॉ एंड ऑर्डर का क्रिमिनल डिसऑर्डर हो चुका है, अपराधी विजय हो चुके हैं और सम्राट हो चुके हैं, यही हकीकत है।
Now remember, this isn't a one-off case. It's starting to really look like a deadly pattern now. A free run for these gangsters, a breakdown of law without fear of consequences. The state's top cop, ADGP Kundan Krishnan, shockingly has offered an explanation that he thinks is plausible. That murders are peaking in Bihar during the months of May and June due to idle farmers. Here's what he said.
मई जून में ज़्यादा मर्डर होते आई है वर्षों से। अप्रैल मई जून, जब तक बरसात नहीं होती है ये सिलसिला जारी रहता है, क्योंकि ज़्यादातर किसान को कोई काम नहीं रहता है। एक बरसात होने के बाद लोग, कृषक समाज के लोग व्यस्त हो जाते हैं और घटनाएं घटती है।
पारस हॉस्पिटल में जो गोली चली है, हत्या हुई है, अभी कल भी मैंने आप लोगों को कहा है कि बिहार में कानून व्यवस्था की स्थिति लगातार बिगड़ेगी, अभी और बिगड़ेगी। इसलिए बिगड़ेगी कि पूरा पुलिस प्रशासन तो शराब से पैसा कमाने में, बालू माफियाओं के साथ साठगांठ करके पैसा कमाने में, घूस लेने में लगा हुआ है। जितने मंत्री हैं, जितने सरकार के लोग हैं, वो ट्रांसफर पोस्टिंग में करोड़ों रुपए का उगाही कर रहे हैं। तो आप जब पुलिस वाले शराब और बालू से पैसा कमाने में लगे हैं, तो कानून व्यवस्था का काम कब करेंगे?
All right, well, Bihar, is it really under Gunda Raj, as the opposition says? Joining me live tonight is Ajit Jha, senior journalists. We also have Manish Baryar, who's a spokesperson of the BJP, Professor Anwar Pasha, spokesperson of the RJD. I'm shocked to see what I see here in Patna, where assailants just walk into an ICU at a private hospital, shoot and walk out. It's for me unbelievable to think that the hospital did not have enough security. How could they leave men unregistered to walk into the hospital? Were the security guards also party to this? How did that hospital not have levels of security? It's said to be a well-known hospital, then what really happened? And what's even more surprising here is that you have Union Minister Majhi, who says in justification that it's a private hospital and this is gang rivalry, almost trivializing the case itself. Before I get to our guests, I'm going to take you through what the Union Minister Majhi said.
पारस हॉस्पिटल कोई सरकारी संस्था नहीं है, वो निजी संस्था है। वहाँ का क्या प्रतिबंध उन लोगों का रहा है, उन लोगों को सोचना चाहिए। अब घुस करके मारा है तो किसी साधु को नहीं मारा है, आपस में गैंगवार का मामला है। वो लोग तो कहीं भी कुछ कर ले सकते हैं। सरकारी महकमे में, सरकारी अस्पताल में रहता है, अगर बात होती तो मैं कर सकता हूँ, लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी घटना घटी है। आप देखें कि चाहे जो भी घटना घटी है उसकी त्वरित कार्रवाई होती है।
There you have it. Manish Baryarji, if I could bring you in on this. It's shocking to see what I see, and we hear 13 murders that have happened in the last few days, and this being the latest added to that list. It's not something Bihar wants to boast of under your governance a year before elections.
Of course, good evening to you and my co-panelists as well as the viewers. So nobody takes pride in these kind of killings. Obviously, it is a matter of concern. But I felt that you were a bit harsh when you were talking about General Raj. I feel that that is something which is better left to Lalu days. It was very, very bad. Nobody wants those days back to Bihar. But I would say that Manji ji was quite right when he said what he said. And I don't think it should be trivialized. Was he not right when he said that what was the hospital doing? Because he was on parole, so it was not responsibility of police. He was not under police protection, right? So there's a lot of question mark on how the hospital allowed 5 people, because in ICU nobody can go without any kind of anyone collusion. 5 people, you are normally allowed 1 person. So how come 5 people went? So obviously, there must be some hospital people with them, and that's how they got this free access. Otherwise, it was not possible, and it's a very big hospital. You try getting into an ICU. Yeah. Because we as a family, I belong to Patna, I stay in Patna, so we have gone. It is not possible for any person to go to ICU just like that. So there is a lapse of hospital administration. There's no doubt over it, but it is unfortunate, but at the same time, I would like to say something which I was there in the earlier program where I was saying that if you look at 2000, and see, data is something which is, I'm not being insensitive, but if you compare last year's data with this year's data of crime, then you will find that it has actually come down. If you look at in my nearby state, Jharkhand, where Congress government is there, and along with JMM, then you will find that it is 3 times the number of murders which happens in Jharkhand, which is very, very rare, but then Jharkhand leads the country when it comes to number of murders. Now, this is not to justify that what is happening in Bihar is something which can be taken anything lightly. But then, the number of murders in Bihar is not something, and you have to also look at 15 crore population, is not something which is, out of the order when you compare with similar population with the rest of the country. And if you have some data, please throw me those data, because I saw those data and I felt that it was not out of context. Now, this is election time.
Not out of the blue. You're saying Bihar is so used to these kind of episodes that
absolutely not. I think
lawlessness has been internalized.
Then
you're saying that the data that we are providing to you is not out of the blue. It's basically normalized.
No, it is not like that. But you have to also look at national average. Right, so you have to compare, don't make Bihar an exception to this entire rule. Then you have to talk the entire country is happening. And,
you talk
it is
for your state. We'll get to the rest of the country when we have to. You speak about your state. This is
Yeah,
a
so
well-known
in my
hospital as
state,
per your
I
view.
don't think.
As per your view, this is a well-known hospital. These are people, 5 men walking into an ICU, gunning down and walking off. In fact, we are showing visuals of them leaving the
So did
ICU.
it
They are
not
not even
happen
running. They are not even
under
running.
UPA rule? Did it not happen in the JJ hospital
Is that
under
your
police
defense, sir?
protection in
Is that your
Maharashtra?
defense?
So it didn't happen. So are you saying that this
No,
is
what are
something
the
which has happened
okay? So
for the
all
first
right.
time ever in
I'm
India?
going to say that the UPA has been the worst government that India could have had. What have you done, learning from their mistakes?
So what we have done is that during UPA in Bihar, there were 6,000 killings per year. From there, it has now come down to 3,000.
You know, I will bring in Ajit. He's a journalist. He could probably do justice in explaining to us what's the real national average when it comes to murders. I mean, the numbers that we've given here, 1,300 odd murders since the start of 2025 to now in Bihar alone. It's shocking to me, but it seems like the BJP spokesperson says not out of the blue when it's compared to national average.
Well, let me put it this way, that if you double up that trend, first 6 months, 1,300 something. So if you double up that trend, it almost comes to the same as the last few years. So the fact that our spokesman is saying that it's a lot less, that's not quite true. At the same time, look, there is no argument here that the law and order situation in Bihar is bad right now. If you are having 16 murders in 13 days, if you just take that figure, you can't just run away and say, well, this is a gang war. So the former Chief Minister Jitan Ram Majhi saying that is he's being rather irresponsible. Secondly, see, every time when you tell the BJP that in the last 20 years, the NDA government, under the NDA government, the crime situation is bad, they'll turn around and say Jungle Raj. Now think of the first time voter. Forget us. The first time voter was born and under the Nitish Raj, right? Or right before that. So if they go and vote, they have no memory of Jungle Raj. So the BJP goes on sort of, comparing the Jungle Raj. Remember, during the Lalu days, for the first 10 years, Bihar and Jharkhand were together. So when you're comparing
the government here today has tarnished of Lalu's own doing as well, has tarnished his image. The RJD has had a reputation of Jungle Raj and they have been booted out of power. Now, what has the BJP alliance, the NDA alliance done there to better that average?
Is that question to me?
You can answer.
Yeah, Nabila ji, what we have done is that there are no organized caste killings. There are no organized gangs out there.
Sir, this looks like an organized gang right here to me. What I see on my television looks like an organized gang.
Absolutely not. I can reel names after names. Who were infamous in the entire country. You name one gangster like that in Bihar now. There were a number of them. And most importantly, they were under protection of the government itself. Right? So there is some leader right now, very important leader in Bihar. He talked about one of the biggest criminals India has seen, Zindabad. So that's the kind of attitude that government was there. So it is very important for us to remind the people of Bihar that what kind of government that was. That was an unprecedented government, never found anywhere in this country.
So I have not seen anything exceptional coming from the NDA in Bihar to ensure that these are clamped down on. They may not be one big gangster because it's modern India. We've also moved towards development in many ways. People are more educated. So glorified gangsters are no more anywhere in the country, not just in Bihar. But that said, organized networks are very much alive, and this looks like an organized network to me.
I would disagree with you, Nabila ji.
Right.
I would disagree.
Sure.
You have Lawrence Bishnoi. You have so many of them in different parts of the country. Right. So you have to give credit to also to the Bihar government
Lawrence
that
Bishnoi
it had some impact on the law and order. And fast court.
Lawrence Bishnoi is in prison. We understand that he's still carrying out these crimes and threats. We don't know how he's doing it, but he's also in prison right now. But that said, what Yogi Adityanath is doing in neighboring state. If you want to take examples of Jharkhand, you're talking about Congress. Well, let me give you an example of the BJP itself. Uttar Pradesh is doing a fairly decent job in clamping down on gangsters. Why is there a lesson not learned from there?
So, of course, in Bihar, you do not have that kind of an organized crime the way, UP is clamping down. In Bihar also, the same thing has happened. And over a period of last 20 years, you can look at, you would not find that kind of an organized gangster organized crime in Bihar.
So
And not
this is
and
entirely
look at also the
organized.
kind of action
I
which the
find it
government
hard to
takes up.
believe that you're not seeing how organized and meticulous this murder at Paras Hospital was. Professor Anwar Pasha, who's a spokesperson of RJD or the opposition, you're constantly being blamed, saying we are far better than the Lalu period. That these gangsters are basically your giving.
This is very interesting that the people who are promoting crime today in Bihar. Today, Bihar has become the #1 state in the country as far as the murders are concerned, rapes are concerned, lootings are concerned. And they are talking of Jungle Raj 20 years back. This shows their seriousness, how serious they are, how concerned they are to control the crime in Bihar, especially, and in Patna, especially. Patna has become the crime hub, the crime capital. It is known as crime capital now. Although it is happening all over Bihar, but see the situation of law and order in Patna and how they are justifying it. This is new normal for Bihar. This is not abnormal for Bihar. They are saying this. They are justifying it. These are gang wars. These are private wars. The private matters, like our one of the ministers was telling it, that two people are sitting there, two friends are sitting there, and if one kills another, it is not a crime at all. He's trying to justify the crime. This is emboldening the morale of criminals. And just see the statement of our ADG, what he's saying. He is blaming it the farmers of Bihar, the Annadata farmers. He's saying that the farmers are criminal because they do not have work during this period of May and June. They involve in crimes.
I don't understand. What
Means
is that?
all
You
the
know, I
crimes
want
are
to bring
being
in.
carried
I
out
want to
by
bring
the
in
farmers.
our
This is
journalist,
insult
Mr.
of farmers.
Ajit,
This is
what
the
does it
insult
mean?
of farmers of Bihar.
What does it
I
mean
condemn it.
when a police
And
officer
condemn
says
it.
that this is seasonal?
The ADG should apologize to the farmers of
He
Bihar.
should, absolutely. What does it
The
mean when the
government
cop
should
says?
apologize to the farmers of Bihar.
Ajit, if you can break it down for
This
in
cannot
simple
be
terms
tolerated.
for our viewers to understand, what does it
This
mean?
insult of our farmers cannot be tolerated.
What does it mean when
know
a
our
cop,
farmers.
when a police says that this
They
is
are
a
peaceful
seasonal murder,
people.
that
They are
farmers
not
are
criminals.
idle between the months of May and June, so they are committing crimes like murders? This is so bizarre.
You see, what he's doing is he's basically looking at some numbers in front of him. There might be a spike in the number of murders during this period of April, May, June, and therefore he's coming to the conclusion, and the conclusion is very interesting. He links it straight to farmers. He could have talked about that criminals have no activity at that time, but instead of doing that, he links it to farmers. That's a serious allegation, and it reflects a very, very sick mindset. Even if he's the ADG of Bihar, he should have had more decency than making an outlandish statement like that. The figures don't show that the criminals are farmers. The figure perhaps shows that there is a spike in the number of murders during April, May, and June. But having said that, I think none of us paid attention, at least our panelists did not, the BJP panelist, to what Prashant Kishore said, and I have repeated that. I have just traveled across Bihar for the last 6 weeks, and the sand mafia has made life miserable. You know, I just entered Bihar from UP by road and moved up from Buxar to Ara, Chapra. That entire road has been taken over by the sand mafia and the liquor mafia. You know, there is prohibition in Bihar, but everywhere you can buy alcohol. All around, people tell me about that. I'm a journalist. People come to me and tell me about it. And the reason is that the police is in collusion. The police is actually selling the liquor all over Bihar. So that point Prashant Kishore made, if you talk to people, people are making. And to last time when I made this point, One of the BJP spokesperson said, well, the mafia people are actually, from a certain political party. Well, even if they are, it is the job of the law and order. The Home Minister, who is also the Chief Minister, he should be ensuring that they are inside. The fact that you can't drive safely in many parts of Bihar, some parts of Bihar, the roads are being expanded. In the others, the sand mafia controls the entire roads. So again, the moment you raise the question, they'll sort of compare it to the Lalu Raj 20 years ago. I think it is an escape. The truth is, law and order situation is bad, and so are no jobs, migration is high. The real issues in Bihar right now are these: the decline in education, the decline in health. All these I don't have to repeat because there are enough figures going around. The moment you raise it, 20 years the NDA has ruled, 17 years in collusion with the BJP, and yet the BJP will immediately raise this narrative of the Jungle Raj because they want to tell their voters, if you vote the RJD, you will have the so-called the crime of that period returned.
No, but this is acting against the NDA. Manish,
Absolutely.
is the government here prioritizing political survival over actual policing and safety?
Absolutely not. But it is important. और मैं याद दिलाना चाहता हूँ दो event because it is important for me to put it to viewers, everyone. Because I was not speaking, but now that Mr. Ajit Jha has said, क्यों जंगल राज इतना ज्यादा बोलते हैं? अभी लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन उन्होंने शहाबुद्दीन, जिन्होंने 2 लोगों को जिंदा एसिड में डाल करके मार दिया था, उसके लिए अभी जिंदाबाद जिंदाबाद। तो जिस पार्टी का लीडर एंड द लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन, अगर वो जाकर के सब लोगों के बीच में जिंदाबाद कराए एक नोन क्रिमिनल को, हार्डेंड क्रिमिनल जिसने 2 लोगों को जिंदा जला दिया, जो तिहाड़ जेल में बंद होकर के वो वहीं पर मर गया, तो आप सोच सकते हैं क्या जंगल राज है। और भी बोल सकता हूं, जहां पर चीफ मिनिस्टर किडनैपिंग के केसेस को खुद सेटल करता था। तो जंगल राज को आप ट्रिविलाइज मत कीजिए। जंगल राज एक्चुअली जंगल राज था, अजीत जी को भी पता है, वो बोल रहे हैं, ठीक है।
So if you are speaking about Jungle Raj under Lalu with so much conviction, you have not. Yeah, well, you sure do.
Doesn't mean that people will forget Jungle Raj.
But sir, but you are not allowing people to forget it. You are in power right now.
20 years, 25 years.
But sir, you are in power right now. You are not allowing people to forget it. Look what you have not done. You have not. What have you done?
Do you allow people to forget Jallianwala
You are
Bagh?
not allowing anyone to forget it because it continues even under your regime.
It is not like that. I think you don't understand. You had to live that era to understand what that Jungle Raj was.
I'm in modern India enough to be shocked with this in a hospital.
Obviously,
where you have. I could very well have been inside that hospital at this point.
I'm not even defending that. Absolutely not. But then do not trivialize it by using that word Jungle Raj.
All right. They were glorified criminals at that point. You have modernized criminals now under your regime. That's all I can say. Whatever I see here, 16 murders in 13 days. How many of them have been cracked?
So number of these murders have been personal enmities. These are unfortunate. Right, so you have to also look at each and every case, why it happened.
This is all
Even
rubbish
the most
justification
infamous
of murder.
Mr. Gopal Khemka one.
This is
He
rubbish
got murdered
argument.
because of personal enmity.
Justification of murder.
So
You are
there is a
doing
difference
justification.
between an
You are trying to
organized
justify
crime.
the murder.
Yes, I admit
You are trying to
that this
shade
was
the
a failure.
murderers.
But then
You have
not
no
in
answer to
cases,
offer.
Other cases.
Where is the
So
chief
you have
minister?
to stop
Where is the
comparing.
home minister?
Sir, you
The
know,
chief minister
I
is
would
not
give
the
you
home
an
minister.
example of your own
Not me.
party. In Uttar Pradesh, I'm not for bulldozer action, but well, that's what happens there. Bulldozer action happens. Properties are being seized. If you are a criminal with a criminal record, there's a strict crackdown there. What kind of measures are you taking here in Bihar?
So obviously, if you look at every incident that has happened, police has acted very swiftly. An example of that once Mr. Khemka was murdered, police took action and now the person is behind bars. In every case, police is after those
These
criminals.
four,
I think
five
you should also
assailants,
judge about
these five
how
assailants,
fast
it's been
working to ensure that these
over
criminals are
12
behind
hours.
bars.
Sir, any word on these 5 assailants? The way they've come, their faces are all caught on CCTV cameras. Any word on them?
So right now, as of now, I do not have any information, so I won't be able to comment on that. But I'm
All
sure
right.
police is after it. It would take a couple of days, but they should be behind bars very fast.
Okay. Thank you very much. I really appreciate all of you joining us, and thank you, Manish, for answering those questions. Of course, you are the spokesperson. It's the government right now that's firefighting all the criticism that's coming in the way. It's a year ahead of elections in Bihar, and this could really be negative publicity, and that's what we see panning out. Let's just hope these culprits are behind bars at the earliest. Thank you for joining us on that. On that note, we're slipping into a short commercial break. I will be right back with our top stories on day to night. Karnataka partial band being announced over UPI payments, traders receiving tax notices on GST.